This video is brought to you by Scopic.com. Get yours now.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Vodafone.com, and so we're going to take a look at Vodafone Smart Platinum 7 or Alcatel Soul Prime, depending on the region. Well, as long as it's got a 5.5 inch of a QHD display, Snapdragon 652, and 3 gigs or 4 gigs of RAM, depending on the region, and 3000 mAh of battery backing that up, then you have the same device. So with the device itself, I was fairly surprised at how good and well built of a device it is. I never had a TCL phone, I never had an Alcatel phone. This is a very solid phone with especially the glass back and the fingerprint reader, and the camera design. Everything is very well with the chamfered edges and metal body with the 2 antenna slits there. I have to be honest, I'm quite impressed with the build quality. Now the next thing that you will be interested in is the AMOLED display. But before we go on, the fingerprint reader is weirdly slow. I think those 0.12 seconds of fingerprint unlocking features are pretty absurd, but this is way too slow. I mean, my iPhone 5S was actually faster than this. You put your finger onto the sensor and almost a second after, the screen turns on. This is by far the slowest fingerprint reader I've recently seen on a mobile device. But let's go back to the display. It's got a 5.5 inch QHD display. Again, it's an AMOLED panel, thus giving you a very sharp image with a pretty well saturated image. If you want more on top of that, then you can go to screen mode, and there are color balances, cold, normal, and warm. I set it to a bit of a warmer tone, and you can set between the vivid and natural mode. Vivid mode giving you more saturated image than the natural mode, obviously. But while it does have the good panel, I found the touchscreen a bit clunky. It's really hard to tell. It's not about the sensitivity, but it's more about the recognition of your touches. When I'm sliding horizontally or vertically, it misreads my touch, and it registers it as a press. When I was just keep on scrolling around, it actually launches an app within the scroll. And it happened quite a lot, even to the level that it started annoying me. I'm pretty sure that this doesn't happen to everyone, and of course not to every single unit of the Platinum 7s, but that was annoying to me. Another fun little Alcatel feature is reversibility. So you can reverse your phone and it works. You have seen landscape and portrait, but upside down is something very new. You can even change the animation for that. So when you're taking your phone out of your pocket, you can use your phone whichever way you want, and you can still talk on the phone because these are dual stereo speakers and you can use either one without any problem. But here's the thing, even though screen flips, the buttons are still there, and so is the camera, and so is the USB port. So you will have to eventually flip it back around. And I just figured that it's easier for me to just flip it as soon as I figure it out, rather than using it upside down and flipping it back again. So I just disabled that feature, but still, it's there for fun. And that is just one little feature that Alcatel has modified from the vanilla Android experience, since the device has very stockish interface. They have changed the color themes and the icons, but aside from that, multitasking panel, dialer, and pretty much everything, aside from that notification bar, is very akin to that of vanilla Android. And you might wonder if that not so high-end Snapdragon 652 processor is powerful enough to handle that QHD resolution, and the answer is, it is. Things are pretty smooth, and it's especially true with the 4 gigs of RAM in this specific model. Throughout my testing, I didn't have to face any of the problems regarding the performance and that very high resolution. One of the very interesting features included here is the boom key. So what is the boom key? And here's a very well written manual there. When the power is off, you can use it to turn on the screen or quickly launch the camera, although you can do the very same with the power key there. And when the screen is on, you can use it for the effects or camera key, or take the screenshot, or to trigger a specific application that you can set manually. In short, it's just a customizable shortcut key, and that's great. Having an extra key for your custom app is always great when it is positioned right, and this is way too far on the top to be pressed with a thumb when you're using your left hand, and for your right hand it's almost impossible to press that key on that very edge corner. So I would call that a very weirdly positioned, painfully weirdly positioned button right there. Now let's move into the fun part, the camera. As you can see right there, they're pretty proud of what they have. Sony IMX298, face detection autofocus, 60 megapixels of a camera, and everything they have written there are, it doesn't really work that well. The camera launches pretty fast, and there is even manual mode, and you can easily change the ISO, shutter speed, white balance, and the focus. And the white balance, especially here, is needed because the white balance here is terrible. Simply put, it rarely gets the real color that you're trying to shoot. As you can see through the photos, it's going to capture the color that is furthest away from what it actually looks like. So unless you want the surreal photos, you will pretty much get disappointed at it. And the bigger problem here is that it doesn't have any sort of stabilization. I'm not talking about this 5-axis stabilization or anything advanced like that. I don't expect those kind of technology from these kind of cheaper phones, but this is way too shaky. Yes, there is one sign that says EIS, but that's only for the video. When you're trying to take a photo, that f2.0 lens is going to shake like a samba class. Alright, next up, audio. There are stereo speakers, and although these little holes get really easily blocked by the dust in their jeans, they work pretty fine. And there's even a thing called a Waves Max Audio, and when you have these kind of audio suits on your phone, you should feel very skeptical at it. Those Max Audio, Dolby Audio, those kind of all the fancy audio suits rarely work. So we're going to turn that on, and you can customize it with a treble, bass, stereo, revive, and music, movie, general, auto set. Don't. Just turn that off and it's going to sound fine. It's a pretty good speaker for its price, and when you're watching a movie and when you're listening to music, it's going to be a great help. It's definitely better than those single firing speakers. Well, so far so good. It sounds like a pretty good deal if you're fine with the touchscreen. No. The QHD display is greatly handled with the Snapdragon 652, but I didn't say that they were easy on the battery. Now, 3000 mAh of battery, that doesn't sound right. And no, it's not right. Although it does charge quickly, it does support Quick Charge 2.0, so it's going to take only 1.5 hours to fully charge up the battery, but the battery in the same time is only going to last for 3.5 hours at max for screen on time. Yes, I'm always on the 4G LTE network and I surf the web all the time, so I'm a bit harsh on the battery, but comparatively speaking, the other phones with the same amount of the battery is going to last a whole lot longer than the Platinum 7 here. We're pretty much done here. The verdict for the Idol 4S with the fingerprint reader, Vodafone Smart Platinum 7, or the Soul Prime, whichever they are sold as in your region, is they are a nice multimedia machine. You can watch a movie, listen to music, it's got a QHD panel, there's a VR goggle in some regions, so if you want to experience VR, get immersed to the whole another world, here is a very cheap solution. But if you want a daily driver, if you want a phone, then no. It couldn't be any far away from your ideal phone. To my knowledge, a phone should have long-lasting battery and nice camera, stability, and a bit more for that, but it's missing so many of them, especially the battery and the touchscreen sensitivity. That was the Vodafone Smart Platinum 7 Soul Prime Idol 4S with the different design with the fingerprint reader, whichever you want to call them. I hope it helped. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment. And no, don't buy this. And we'll see you guys later. You can meet us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.